سبحان فالق الإصباح.
Ding dong. Hello?
Yes, that's right, infidels. You found us here, channelattitude.com, Hameen Media Group, where you get the most real talk, the best reviews of all your favorite wrestling shows from AEW and WWE, Impact, and more, because we're going to break it all down with the best staff in professional wrestling at HMG. So you don't need to go anywhere else, because there's no 5 stars here. There's only $5 face slaps, infidel. Allahu Akbar! So sign up today, channelattitude.com, Hameen Media Group, and join the Hameen Army for the most real talk in professional wrestling. YOLO!
Warning. The following video clip contains strong language and has therefore been rated 18+ by the YouTube NECCA. Viewer discretion is advised.
It's Friday! You know what that means! A new era of professional wrestling starts right now with AEW Rampage!
Story time with Adam Cole, that day.
Darby, he'll take a chance. Pull the
Hello everyone and welcome to the HMG Rampage Uncaged Show Battle of the Belts edition. I am your host Jimmy T and my co-hosts are back. They're the same old guys every week. It is Chris Ambs, it is Jeff Lippman. Guys, welcome back to Rampage Uncaged. Chris, what's cracking, man?
Yo, that's Crip Chris, for all my homies. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not claiming any sets. Please don't come kill me. I am Christopher Ambs. That's AMBS, like Limes with no L. It's bullshit first thing in the morning. If anybody ever forgets how to spell my last name, I'll just remind you. Happy zombie weekend, everybody. Apparently the zombies come out this weekend, so, happy that.
Wow. Jeff,
it's
what's
my
cracking,
turn,
man? It's your turn.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a very special announcement to make. AEW had an exciting night of live wrestling in some place in Rhode Island and nobody outside of Rhode Island ever heard of. Lots of belts were on the line, so much excitement. Featured 2 excellent women's matches, height of their game. And I can't believe it. I'm just so excited to have there's so many new things, so many exciting things going on at AEW. And what my deal with you.
Well, we've already got a few comments in the chat, but Chris Whelan says the PWC taking AEW bullets for us simple folk. Thank you for that. How do you guys suffer through this shit every week? The answer is always penis. Well, it kind of is always penis. Actually, it's been boobs lately.
That's
it's
right.
The BWC.
Just Chris, because it is a festive time of year. You know, we suffer for the sins of the everyman, and we go through that pain and torment of watching AEW, so that we can save you from having to go through the pain and the punishment and everything like that. We are your zombies for this Easter weekend.
That's exactly right. We sacrifice for man so that the greater power can be one with man. And right now, by doing the review, we ascend through our Holy Spirits up, and by tomorrow we shall resurrect.
And happy Easter to everybody that celebrates it, and happy Passover. Sorry, what'd you say, Jeff?
What's Easter? What are you talking about?
Oh,
Zombie weekend, he means. That's what they used to call Easter like a long time ago.
Really? Oh, well. There you go. Well, anyway, Facebook user says, shave, Jeff, you're looking scruffy.
I'm always scruffy. It's just that it's colored now. Viv wanted to color it, and I let her do whatever the hell she wants, because she's the only one who needs to look at me and care what I look like.
Homeboy88 says, what's up, gentlemen? Jeff, I'm listening to your Tartaria episode right now. Pretty good.
Well, thanks for the pretty good on there. Didn't I get you how many downloads on your show? You couldn't give me, it's awesome that it's going to be to the public. A little bit more than pretty good. Thanks for nothing, homeboy.
It's awesome. It's fantastic. It's fabulous. It's wonderful. It's life-changing.
Glorious, even.
It's still not as good as the 6 that I've been on. But...
Boy 88. Some guy I know from the neighborhood.
But better yet, though, fellas, we got the Common King in the house, in Todd Brantley. Hey, yo, what's cracking, man? What's happening?
Yo.
Hey, yo, exactly.
Anyone want to take a poll?
It's one more for the good guys. Anyway, because he also says, have no fear because the Comment King is here. That's right. And Homeboy says it's awesome, for fuck's sake.
There we go. That's all I ask. I mean, this is promotion. I mean, if you think privately it's only pretty good, tell me, but not the world, for God's sake.
Well, anyway, guys, let's the suffering begin, because let's talk about AEW Rampage. I mean, is there any news we should be talking about? I think we've already broken out on previous shows, which you can check it on the Smack Attack.
It's AEW related that maybe if people didn't watch Smack Attack, that Sonata defeated Okada and is the new IWGP champion.
What?
And I strongly suspect that is just so Okada can lose at Forbidden Door 2 without the belt being involved.
Is that at Sakura Genesis at that event that he won it?
You are going way beyond my New Japan knowledge.
I'm pretty sure that's what was on just recently.
I mean,
really?
Genesis I know is the band and Sega and Nintendo.
And Nintendo, come on.
Sonata defeated Okada in the Lotta Arena in Shinzabata.
Yeah,
that's shocking, man. Why is I like?
Oh, that's a shame that Jimmy froze.
Anyway, I froze.
Yep.
Well, not quite. I'm still here because Todd says he's not doing much, but watching some XFL, and don't judge him.
No, it's good. Man. Good, enjoy.
XFL's all right, man.
Better you than me.
Come on, absolutely. Anyway,
you know what, Todd? You should do a PWC XFL review show.
God. Do you think anyone would care?
Send us your audition tape. We'll see what your stuff is made of.
And before we get into Rampage, I just want to bring up one more comment because I like this one. Chris Whelan says, seriously, I don't watch AEW anymore. Your review shows are enough for me. Almost enough to make a fella turn on MLW or Impact. At least they have consistency, shitty or not. Not really. They're consistently shitty, actually, Chris, just quietly. So I wouldn't bother watching those shows every week. Heck. It is consistently shitty. True.
I can't speak to Impact because I haven't watched it since they since they departed for Access TV. But MLW, I promise you, no, it's absolutely not worth it.
Jesus Christ. Well, anyway, boys, let's finally get into friggin' Rampage. And I will say this: we will get into Battle of the Bouts later on, obviously. But I think it was better than Battle of the Bouts, first of all. But we start off though with an FTW Championship match. It is Hook against Ethan Page in a Falls Count Anywhere match, which I didn't even realize
Lazy booking.
Lazy booking, not just lazy booking, but what the hell was it? First of all, Hook. This is the longest match I've ever seen Hook in, so that's a plus, I think.
I think that's why they made it that way, so he didn't have to actually wrestle. He could just do brawling. But why are there ever rules for an unsanctioned title?
I have no idea, Jeff.
Make it like the hardcore title where it's sort of like defended anywhere, anytime, and make it sort of fun.
Why not? I mean, that's a good idea.
Well,
I mean,
I
could
know
do that.
why. I just realized that the reason is because the crowds like seeing Hook for whatever reason, so they put him on TV because they imagine that like all the female wrestling fans love Hook, all 16 of them.
I was going to say, you see a lot of those.
Yeah. No, I don't. Never.
Well, Chris, what do you think of this matchup? Obviously, Hook does retain. I mean, he hasn't even lost a match yet in AEW, I don't believe. No, he's pretty much 26-0 now at this point, I think.
Everybody's on a streak.
Wow, that's true also. I mean, there's a few actual wrestlers that haven't lost, but
him and Jade on a collision course.
Julia Hart's 21-0.
Was she? Really? I could have sworn I've seen her lose a match before she was House of Black, man.
For every year of age she has, she's won a match.
Okay. Wow. Jinder's in the house. Under the bylaws of the FTW board, it respects the wrestling governing body rules and regulations. I see. Yalla to that. Thanks for the information.
Anyone who cites bylaws.
To answer your question, Jimmy, the match was actually not bad. It was a get your shit in kind of a nonsense, everything, go through tables and that kind of thing, kind of spot fest. But I actually think that Ethan Page kind of proved, at least to me, if not to management in the back, that he can get a good match out of Hook, which I don't think anybody else can actually say they've done so far. Not that Hook hasn't looked good, but he hasn't actually had a decent match yet. And I thought that this was a decent little hardcore match. It wasn't anything to write home about, but it also wasn't anything to fire anybody over. And I think that for that, awesome. Good job, Ethan.
Jeff, what's your thoughts, man, on the whole match as a whole?
I actually sort of agree. This was probably the best Hook match that I've seen. I mean, I can't remember all of them, and there were probably ones that were short and brutal, which did the job as well. But yeah, I mean, it was sort of fun. They wrestled into the crowd, and the crowd enjoyed it. And Ethan Page was definitely selling with them. I mean, it's a shame because Ethan Page is definitely a better wrestler, but that's not his lot in life in AEW. And he doesn't work for Impact anymore, so he's getting more than $14.63 an hour. So, good for him. But the entire firm looks like jokes, and just hopefully Hook can now move on from that. And in the back we saw wrestlers totally watching TV sideways, Isaiah Cassidy and Matt Hardy, and then I guess the next story is them fighting each other again, which is how they became friends again. Was in the beginning was by fighting, and now how they're gonna it's sort of they married by hating each other first and falling in love, and then they had a short marriage, and then they realized they hated each other, and now they're divorcing again, and we're going to see it all in the wrestling ring. Unfortunately, like the friends of Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton, I feel like I've seen it already.
Yeah, well, that's true. It does feel that way. Actually, as a matter of fact, my significant other, Dee, actually said it feels like deja vu. And I'm like, actually, it's true. She's right. So, yeah, you're right, Jeff, about that. But like Chris said,
it's
and
true.
You agreed with,
it's true. It's deja vu.
Haha, yeah, good one. Ooh. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice.
Adaptation. That's what us professionals do.
Absolutely. But I will agree with you guys, though. It was the match of the night, even though it was,
We didn't say it was the match of the night yet, Jimmy. We just said it was an enjoyable match.
For me, it was probably the most enjoyable match of the Rampage portion. With
us on that. Just speak for yourself, match of the night.
Well, I thought Chris actually sort of mentioned that, but I could be wrong. I might have misheard him. Oh, well, anyway, who cares? We're not going to argue that.
No, but I do think that it was the best performance by anybody by Ethan Page, and that he was able to get something out of Hook here.
Yeah.
Which is true, because, I mean, Hook has never been... I mean, the match went for a good 15 minutes, right? I mean, roughly.
Yeah, and they adhere to the rule that whoever puts the table goes through it, even though the match was already. Oh, the one thing I didn't like about the match is Ethan Page tapped immediately, way too quickly.
Oh, I hated that too.
It didn't look like it was really affecting him. And why? Because they want a strict timeline for Hook to walk out and then decide to put him through the table. I mean, why couldn't he have just had it so that it was had it cinched in for longer? Then Ethan Page goes out, and then Hook sort of accidentally throws him to the side, and he goes through the table that way or something. I don't know.
Why couldn't he lock it properly? The Katahajime, which is the OG name of the rear naked choke from Taz. That's what Taz used to call it. The Katahajime.
It's a fucking rear naked choke.
I know.
Jesus.
That's what fucking Taz used to call it. But yeah, you're right.
Why did you cut up Charmaine? And who's Charmaine?
Taz back in ECW, he obviously used to use the same move as his son does, right? As his finisher.
Don't give Teddy Hart any ideas.
In WWE, they called it Taz Mission, but in ECW, he used to call it the Katahajime.
Well, Taz Mission is more clever.
I could picture WWE going, or especially Vince McMahon saying, mate, what the hell is that? What is that? Cheese. Sorry. Vicente McMandes. Sorry. I was meant to say, is it Gomez? Son of Man. Absolutely. Anyway, but Hook does end up winning the match. It was a fun match, but yes, you're right, Jeff. Ethan Page tapped out way too fast, and it wasn't even locked on properly, but whatever, it is what it is. And unfortunately for him, he has to be a jobber for everybody in AEW. And I'll be honest, I was never the biggest Ethan Page fan, if you know why. I know you guys know why. But he grew on me, and I became a fan of his. Shh, nah. But he did grow on me, and I ended up liking him. So all that bullshit aside, I do think he's genuinely a good player in professional wrestling. Maybe
he's also a good guy. I mean, so he does
absolutely.
But one other thing I don't think it's a nitpick, and this is the booking's fault. The very next match that comes out is Darby Allin versus Lee Moriarty and Big Bill. Well, just Lee Moriarty, but those are two members of the firm, and they're not out there to help him. I mean, I'm glad they're not, because we don't need all of that gobbledygook, but it makes no sense. So why is that match booked for this show immediately afterwards? I mean, book it for a different show if you have to have it. You had Rampage, make it like the second match or something, and then I don't know, whatever, and have them get barred from the arena so that that the rest of the firm can't be there or some shit like that.
It's true. Did they announce that this was a Falls Count Anywhere match on Dynamite? Because I don't recall that.
They didn't, right? I heard it was. Yeah. Again, I'll repeat. Just tell us FTW is an unsanctioned title, and all matches are Falls Count Anywhere, no disqualification. Is that
the new rule now, Jeff?
No, I'm making that up. Okay. That would make sense. No, I didn't hear it until tonight that there was a Falls Count Anywhere. But I mean, you guys are much better at listening to commentary than I am. They speak way too quickly for me, and I tend not to really listen to them. They say so much, blah, 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 and they're promoting 17 shows at a time.
Yep,
it's true. Like I'm just trying to absorb what I saw on the screen and then what I liked and didn't like, and catalog that. And I can't listen to the commentary with their flash-like, auctioneer pace. So I don't. The answer is I don't know.
Well, you know what the real answer is, though, Jeff. But anyway, Todd Brownlee says, I'm still trying to figure out why Hangman Page would come out by himself to get his ass kicked with no weapon.
Because he's an amateur. Amateur. Amateur.
He has the power of the butterflies with him.
And also, nobody came out to help him. Shakes my head.
Nobody loves him. That's the story. He has no friends.
No friends. He's just a loser, Todd. Come on. I mean, that's what he is. He's a loser, like straight up.
He's a loser, baby. So
exactly. Well, anyway, who cares about Hangman Adam Page and where they're going with that? Because,
Todd does.
Well, clearly Todd does, but yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't care less at this point. Anyway, next we move on to QTV about joking about the Lucha Brothers for the Ring of Honor tag title match against QT Marshall and William Hobbs. QT won't be caught dead doing flippy crap, apparently, even though I've seen him do that before, funny enough. I've actually seen him do a 450 splash, believe it or not. And Harley Cameron told QT to break a leg. Oh God. He quipped about who am I, and doing the leg thing, and it's apparently Dante Martin. The QTV crew all chuckled, and Aaron Solo spritz his breast spray into everyone's mouth, which was kind of weird.
The Banaka blast.
Whatever that was. It was kind of weird, and they were all just laughing. And,
well, you
guys,
missed
anything to say?
You missed the lines because they also go out at the Flash auctioneer pace, which is too quick. But they actually have some clever things in here that it's
getting too clever now, though, Jeff. That's the problem.
But at the beginning, they said everyone wants to talk about the big merger, and he goes on to something else. And they also talk about the new car that he got. How do you get that a new car, boss? Well, Wardlow hasn't cut up his credit card, which is dumb, but at least it's funny. I mean, and it reminds us the Wardlow exists.
I forgot. I didn't know.
And then Aaron Solo asked him, goes, did you ever wrestle in Ring of Honor? He goes, Aaron, I chose to compartmentalize that portion of my... I mean, there's stuff in here that's okay if they would just slow down and stop with all the I don't know if TMZ really has some guy that sprays Banaka in his mouth, but
no, they don't.
And they have this other guy who's a total jabroni who nobody knows. He doesn't need to at least have Nick Camarado stand there or something that they could work a story into this. But there's too much going on here, and there's raw material here, but somebody needs help with it. I mean, I don't even really mind Harley Cameron in this role. But
Harley Cameron, it's funny because she's there because there is an Aussie chick on the TMZ panel when they're doing this exact same thing. So I assume that's why they hired her in the first place.
I mean, I guess she's okay, but she spoke too much. She has to report to them who work for AEW, which basically also works for Ring of Honor. She's got to report to them her intel on the Lucha Brothers is that, interestingly enough, they just won the Ring of Honor tag team titles in the Reach for the Ladder match. Oh my! Who knew?
Who knew? I mean, Chris, did you know?
No, but I'm like Jeff. I actually think that this has a lot of potential. I think it could be like one of the highlights of the night if they would do it properly, and they don't need a lot of time, but give them a 2-minute segment on every show, and it just give them like a proper introduction where you can see like a graphic like QTV and then have them come up and be annoying and basically rag on wrestling Twitter because that's funny. That's hilarious that they do that. I think Camarado being there too would be perfect. You have him you give him about, I don't know, 15 seconds where they pan to him like it's his turn to talk, and you just have him go, and everybody will just be looking at him like they have no idea what he's saying, and then they just go off of whatever his expression is at the end. If he laughs, they all laugh. That's hilarious. Good job, Nick. All right, now what about you? Or if he goes at the end, they'll go, wow, I can't believe that happened, Nick. Thank you. Move on. Like, there's so many funny things that you could do with this segment that would be a lot of fun.
Oh, no, I agree. And you know what? As much as I can't stand QT Marshall, he does play this role perfect. But they should implement it when they actually are in matches. It's like they don't even bring it up during their matches or anything like that. So, it is what it is. But Todd also says, just give me 2 minutes of Harley Cameron and I'm good to go. 2 minutes only? Damn. That's no Comic King shit right there, Todd. Come on now. But anyway, she looks like a damn porno star, let's be honest, guys. Does she look like a friggin' professional wrestler? I didn't even know who she was. And she's from my neck of the woods.
Are you suggesting that women professional wrestlers haven't historically looked like porno stars?
Oh, no, they have.
Absolutely. In many cases have been them or become them.
That's true. That's also true.
It's only within the last 8 to 10 years that there's been that more of the women professional wrestlers have actually been professionally trained wrestlers that made it. Before that, I mean, Stacy Keibler started as a stripper right here in Baltimore.
What? Really?
Yeah.
She used to dance at Gals and Memories and Fantasies.
Wow.
Occasionally in night shift. Don't ask me how I know that. Because I saw her.
Bullshit! No way, really? You actually saw it?
I was seen. I mean,
no, I get that. I get that.
But
you really
go by. Then go by. Who knew? But my friends who were from that part of town knew because some of them went to school or they were school. And they're like, oh yeah, we saw her there. Yeah, they go, that's Stacy Keibler. She's dancing. They're like, does she still do?
Yeah, she still does, but I think she's going to stop. And because she was a Nitro girl or whatever. And
yeah, right. Yeah, that's how it started. That's exactly. Yo Jimbo says, yo konnichiwa. Arigato. And he also says, man, wish I had seen Keebler as a stripper. Damn. Tell me about it. I'm still shocked that not only did Jeff see her in person as a stripper, but the fact that she was a stripper. I mean, because she's all class, man. I would never picture her being that type, but who am I to... Jeff is lucky, he also says. And Todd says, I meant 2 minutes of Harley Cameron for the segment, Jimmy, you amateur. Don't lie, Todd. I mean, come on now. You knew what you meant. But anyway, yeah, I'm still shocked. I'm flabbergasted, guys. I'm not going to lie. That really threw me off. So that's interesting. But let's move on, though, guys, because next we get the team of spot entertainers in Daddy Magic, Cool Hand Ange, and the Acclaimed. Defeating El Jobero in LSG, El Jobero in Bobby Orlando, and the last jobber, the Infantry. What's there to really say other than they win? And then afterwards, all three of them turn on the Acclaimed, and that's that. Right. So, I mean, I don't really want... There's nothing really to report about this match other than those scissoring and turns, and that's it. Chris?
Well, I mean...
Well,
you call them Chris. Let them say first.
I was going to say, the greatest part of this segment, and maybe the greatest part in AEW history, was somebody brought a sign that was a Mount Rushmore of all Daddy Magic faces.
I didn't see that. Damn.
That was wonderful, to the point of just being hilarious. Everything else about this was kind of meh. It looked like the Acclaimed were somewhat interested in maybe continuing this thing with the Jericho Appreciation Society, but instead the JAS jumped them, so that's where they're going with it. And yeah, I don't care. These guys are not interesting right now at all. None of them. None of them are interesting.
Yeah,
I do like 2.0 though. Like I said, especially Daddy Magic. And you know why my nipples ain't hard?
No, do you want to know what makes Daddy Magic's nipples get hard?
Yeah, exactly.
The epitome of sports entertainers. Building off of what Chris said, I don't really care about this, and this has absolutely lowered the Acclaimed. And just like everything Jericho, they attach themselves to anything that's hot to try to get themselves heat. And like most things in AEW, they bring them down. And not to use a pun on Hook, but there's a theory in law called the Hooks theory, that as long as you have enough ties to a certain place, that you will adhere to the laws of that place and be at least a semi-decent citizen. And we almost never see that. And it's the same thing in AEW. It's a flawed theory. It doesn't elevate anyone. It just brings down their star. We've seen it with Wardlow. We've seen it with Hobbs. We've seen it with Ricky Starks. We've seen it with Andretti, who's already a jobber, et cetera, et cetera. Ethan Page with the Firm, or Hardy, or whatever the fuck is going on there. Hangman Page with the Dark Order. But here, it's happening to the Acclaim, who were red hot, and now we're in shit. Now, luckily enough, they have the raps are usually funny, and they're pretty good wrestlers, and people love their chant and the daddy ass thing. But the one thing I will say nice about this is that usually wrestling stories are extremely stupid, and this one is stupid too. But at least the JAS recognized that the Acclaimed really were not interested in joining them, and they sort of suckered them into this match and had this thing planned. And then it made sense why Jake Hager was there to neutralize the other giant, Billy Gunn. So I will say something nice about this, in that this story wasn't lingered out. Like, some things don't need to be strung out; they can just happen and have this little feud. And since you like the 2.0, you'll see them doing shenanigans and cheating and whatever. And we'll see this for the next 7 to 10 weeks, or until Double or Nothing or whatever. It's a low card feud for the Acclaimed. It sucks, but at least that part of it, wrestlers weren't being stupid idiots.
It's true. And Todd brings up an interesting point. How messed up was it that the Acclaimed never got their one-on-one tag title rematch? And look what they're doing now. No bueno. That's what's true. But fuck the Acclaimed at this point, because that's what AEW think. I mean,
the only AEW merch I've ever seen other than an AEW shirt or something related to the Elite has been Acclaim merch.
Scissor me daddy.
Yeah,
Scissor me daddy.
Yeah.
Can you say Scissor me Jesus at this point? I mean,
why would I do that? Can I? Yes. Will I? No.
Chris, would you?
Scissor me Jesus.
Anyway, where exactly? Fuck this shit. As that other guy would say. Anywho, let's go somewhere else. Well, get this, guys. We have Swerve. A story with Swerve, apparently. Because afterwards, when the winners celebrated together when Billy went to hug Hager, the JAS enforcers slammed Daddy ass. Matt Maynard and Angelo Parker beat up the Acclaimed and whatnot. So for whatever, we move on to the next scene because Swerve Strickland announced a merger of the Mogul affiliates, and apparently we'll find out later on, and we'll get to that when we get there. But next, it is Darby Allin defeating Lee Moriarty, and apparently, and now I didn't know this, and I don't know how true it is, but he did have the scars to prove it. He was skateboarding somewhere in New York, apparently, and he got hit by a car. Chris, do you know anything about that?
Good.
Jeff, did you hear about that? Is that true?
I heard about it the same place and time you heard about it.
Okay, well,
I mean, obviously it wasn't that bad because he's, here wrestling. He got some raspberries. I mean, not that it's fun, but if you're going to skateboard in New York City, that's probably going to happen more often than not.
That's
especially if you're him, probably taking chances all the time with everything. Like, I'm glad he's okay. I mean,
but did they have to actually announce that? Because doesn't that kind of make him look like an idiot by saying it?
I don't know. I mean, it was fine.
They could have made an angle out of it. They could have said, "Oh, he was attacked backstage."
Yeah, like someone else ran him over, for example, right? That was in AEW, like.
Or just that this match is because the firm attacked him backstage, and luckily security got there before they could do anything. But you'll see the scars on his back. I guess. Listen, they are very much leaning into Darby being a daredevil in real life. I mean, they want him to be their Jeff Hardy, which is really a terrible roadmap to go by, given what Jeff Hardy's done and where he's been. Though I think Darby is straight edge, so maybe they're counting out. Anyway, this is dumb. I mean, honestly, if you were an NFL player and that happened to you, your team would suspend you because it's in your contract. You're not allowed to do zip lining, skateboarding, roller derby. You can't do downhill skiing. It's there's so many things that you can't do. And there have been players that have been suspended and whatever for getting injured in these freak things. Like Jeff Kent didn't get paid for a year because he injured himself. He said he fell down the steps and it turned out he injured himself in some sort of recreational thing like skateboarding or something.
He's so dumb. It's so dumb. Anyway, yeah, you're right. Whatever it was, they should have made it into an angle though, like Chris said, where MJF maybe ran him over, for example, because he doesn't want him facing him for his championship, which we don't even know if that's even happening and when it's happening. But whatever, who cares? But yeah, Darby Allin does beat Lee Moriarty. I didn't like this match anyway. To be fair, I felt it was a little boring. Chris, I don't know. What'd you feel, man?
It was fine. I don't mind Darby Allin matches as long as he's against somebody who's his size. Again, I loved the cruiserweights in WCW, but I did not particularly like when Rey Mysterio was fighting Kevin Nash.
Right.
Fine if he's going to be wrestling against people who are his general size, and I actually like Lee Moriarty in the ring quite a bit. I think he has a really nice catch-as-catch-can kind of style, and I wish they would let him do something with it, even if it's just give him a 5-minute match on every couple of weeks where he just shows a catch-as-catch-can style. But Darby Allin goes over with the coffin drop. The match wasn't anything really to write home about, but it was fine.
Yeah, it just felt underwhelming. What do you say? But StreamYard has been... Oh,
come on.
Anyway.
You don't need to put that on the screen.
I didn't mean that. I was meant to put Todd's. But anyway, Darby Allin and Recreational don't go together. That's a fair point. What's up, Jeff?
With you, Jimmy? I thought this match was dull.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean,
I don't like Lee Moriarty because he has a terrible look. He's boring. He can't speak. His Tiger style means absolutely nothing to me. sometimes he's got a manager, sometimes he doesn't. I mean, you have a big 7-foot giant out there who does almost nothing. I mean, yeah, I saw the big boot, which had almost no effect on Darby for more than 11 seconds. I just didn't like anything about it. They need to stop
doing that. They need to stop doing that in general in AEW. There is consistently there is outside interference that is ineffective. Like, if you're gonna do the outside interference, it needs to be the Solo Sikoa thing. He wins the match for the guy who he's interfering for. Otherwise, it doesn't mean anything when it happens.
Yeah. And if they're not all together, I mean, how are we supposed to remember who's in the firm or who isn't in the firm when they're all over the place? And somehow Ethan Page has an interest in Matt Hardy and Isaiah Cassidy's contracts, or rather, yeah, Ethan Page's. But I mean, doesn't Stokely have the interest? Like, when did Ethan Page get elevated to partner? I thought Stokely was the head of the thing. I just don't understand any of it. And then to make matters worse, Swerve comes out at the end, staring at Darby. They talk about their history and whatever. And so you think, okay, well, Swerve said he's going to hire somebody. He's bringing on his army. Well, the firm have at least an army now. I don't want to see them with Darby because I think he's pretty much beat them all already. And he didn't, but, then Brian Cage comes up and beats up Darby, and he's the Ring of Honor 1/3 of the trios champions. The other two guys aren't there. Prince Nana's there. And, Brian Cage is only on AEW TV to lose, but did he hire the embassy? That's what they said, but we didn't see the whole embassy. I mean, it's just weird. Everything they do is weird. That's all I'm saying. At least it wasn't like some guys from outside that they would think are exciting free agents that aren't. But I don't know. It sort of sucked. Like, it would have been cool if it was like AOP or something.
Well, like Todd said, that would involve psychology, and he's talking to you, Chris, and that's not going to happen. He's got a point. It is AEW. There's no such thing as psychology in this company, but I digress.
They don't need psychology. They just need basic thinking.
It is basic thinking. That's right. It's all it takes is basic thinking. But for whatever reason, Jeff, this company just doesn't have basic thinking. They just don't know.
Well, we know.
Read a book. Read a book. Right. Play a video game. Watch a movie. Classic storytelling is everywhere. It's not that hard to figure out.
It's not, but for whatever reason, yeah. Anyway, man. And also, he says, you mean Brian Cage that was going to leave AEW for NXT according to the sheets? Weird.
Right.
It is what it is. And yeah, we do get that merger.
Why would you go to from getting what probably $300,000 a year for doing almost nothing and working indies to go into NXT where he would probably get $78,000 a year?
True. Fair point. Actually, speaking of that, I was reading an article before we move on to the main event, right? And I'll use that term lightly. I was looking at, apparently MJF, before he signed the kind of new contract, not a new contract, but his pay rise, right? Because apparently that was legit. Yeah. You know how much he was getting paid before he actually signed?
I think it was $240-ish, somewhere around that.
I don't know how true this is, but it's a lot less than that.
Or maybe it was it 110?
110.
Yeah, I remember seeing the number. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think it was 110. I think he got a raise up to like $2.5 million or something like that.
No, I think it's. Oh, maybe it was 2.5. It was either between 1.5 and 2.5. But
yeah, I think
either
that's where
way,
I had the 2.4 from. I think I saw 2.4. I mean,
Ridiculous.
I don't know if it's true or not, but that's where I had the 2.4. Yeah, he was only getting. I think a lot of those guys were only getting paid 110, but that was 3 times what they were making at like MLW, or actually much more than that. And
he was getting $70K before that, apparently.
Yeah, so that's a big raise, but and then they would also work on the indies, and maybe you end up bringing in a $130, but you spend $68,000 to get your $130.
No, it's true. Yo Jimbo says, for me, Cage has lost a lot of his stock. Yeah, and it's a shame because he looks like $1 million. Even I actually like when he does that gesture, right? He looks good doing it and whatnot. But yeah, they just start and stop and start and stop. They don't know what to do with Brian Cage at all. And I've never been the biggest fan of his.
Cage is like a Johnny Come Lately crypto. Of course, he's lost all his value.
Todd comes up with the best comment though. May I suggest wrestling for dummies? You could. I mean, shit. Just hit up TK.
You should write it. Just call it wrestling for fools. Wrestling for Marktards.
Chris Whelan also asked, hey, fellas, anyone seen Miro Lady? Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah, we hung out last night.
Yeah, he's doing well. He's still getting paid.
We were swingers, yeah.
Jeff went to a restaurant and he sat down at a table that he didn't know had been reserved by Miro. But when Miro came in, he was very gracious and allowed Jeff to stay in his seat. And then Jeff went over and they started up a conversation. And long story short, they had a 6-month-long love affair where they made.
I was going to say the same thing.
Homosexual love to
and it was glorious.
It was glorious.
Every day was Bruce, and the best thing about being in a swing relationship with Miro, he just likes to watch.
So he's a cuck too, and I bet he was blaming his
gets
God.
Up and watching, so hey, me, La Sicaria, Lana, CJ Perry. You can role play, put on the blonde wig. Lana, take it off your CJ. She puts on some of the armor from her movies. It's like fucking Voltronette. I mean, the whole thing's great. It's awesome.
Oof.
We did little action sequences, and it's awkward because Miro doesn't have a one-way mirror, so you can actually see him going to town. Behind the window, but it's it's the price you pay. You have to pay. That's the price you pay for friendship.
The price
and
price
sitting at the table that you wanted to be seated at.
Yeah. The cosplaying gets me worried though.
That happens to me, isn't it?
That's weird. That's yeah. Crazy.
That's very weird indeed. The cosplay part though, Jeff, I don't know, man. Oh, really? Whoa, really? Yeah. Well, anyway, that's where Miro is, Chris. So there's the information. You heard it here first on Rampage Uncaged via channelattitude.com. So, yeah, you can thank us later. Absolutely. Anywho, Todd also says, good for you, Jeff. I've heard that about Miro being a cuck. But, hey, no judgment here.
The judgment should be favorable.
It should. Yeah. Absolutely should.
Good job,
well,
John.
guys.
Jeff, you got to share an experience with Bobby Lashley. You and Bobby Lashley have done at least one thing that is alike.
Jeff,
good for you,
Jeff.
Oh shit! If you had I won't even ask you that, Jeff. As a matter of fact, let's just stay clear from that.
Let's just
stay away from that one. It is Easter. Come on, we'll just stay away from that. But anyway,
why would you pass over something?
Yes, very, very, very good. Very well played. Next, we get a hype package for the Rampage main event, guys. It is Julia Hart has 3 rules apparently for Anna Jay. First of all, she says, "Don't touch the hat."
Hagar.
Right.
Repeat.
And then repeat, indeed. Second, she says there will be a lesson in agony. I wonder what that means, guys.
Warning to the audience.
Right. And then the third one is the house always wins. Right. Well, get this. She also says that Jay has a fat ass and a bad attitude and an eye going that way, apparently. Not by her, but you know what I mean. They keep saying that. That was MJF. She will choke out that spooky bitch. And Mark Henry appeared on screen for his signature line. And come on, Chris. It wouldn't be the line without you saying it.
Well, there's been enough talk. It's time for the main event.
By the right.
First of all, it's like he teleported in. Like
he did.
Like usually he's And did you notice he was wearing a different thing? And all those other times he was wearing the same, like a blazer and a like a black tennis shirt. And remember what I said? I think they just had him come in and do 10 of these recordings just for future shows.
100%.
And look, I think I'm 100% right, and I think now we're going to see him in this same outfit for the next 7 weeks because he's like, I ain't fucking coming in anymore. Just let me do this take 6 times, and I'll see you in 2 months. I'll see you for the pay-per-view.
And shout out to the chat. I'm glad everybody's laughing. Everyone's finding this shit funny. Todd says, "Don't." Absolutely. Todd Brandy says, "Don't touch the hat." Don't.
Anyway.
Eat a dick, Jeff. You know you like eating dicks. Come on now.
Not unless you let me sit at your favorite table.
Oh, and what table is that, Jeff?
Tell us stories.
I know.
Anyway, I have a favorite table, but it also happens to be someone else's favorite table. It's a famous wrestler.
It's Miro's.
It always leads to the same thing. Jimmy, play along here.
I know it leads back to damn penis. I get it. I know.
It's a shtick. We've taken 2 shticks and merged them into one.
But you know what, guys? I was proud. For a moment we got away from penis talk.
I've heard that Lana really likes when you put 2 shticks together.
Ooh.
Go great together.
God. Anyway, we're going to go to hell for sure today. But anyway, Todd says, don't touch the hat, don't smile, don't pull my hair unless I tell you to. That's exactly what she meant.
No kissing on the mouth.
Don't call my ass back.
So she's a prostitute now, Jeff? I mean, Chris?
I'm just following along with Todd's line of...
no kissing, here. They say, Chris. But anyway, I don't know how it works in Canada or the US, but apparently here...
Neither do we, Jimmy, but it's good that you know in Australia. Breaking news.
Wait. I've been once, and you don't want me talking about it, trust me. It was...
No, we don't actually...
Put it this way, I didn't pay for it, and I didn't want to do it.
Hear exactly about that.
It was a partiki, put it that way.
Jimmy's adventures in prostitution.
He's growing up Jimmy T again. It was a party, put it that way.
Was D your pimp?
No, we weren't together at the time. But
she
knows about it. I haven't actually...
good earner?
Anyway, let's not go there. Let's just forget what I just said. Let's move on, though.
There's no way I'm ever forgetting what you just said.
You don't even know what... Anyway, let's just move on. Because
I could have the worst form of Alzheimer's on Earth, and I would still remember that one thing.
Well, like Todd says, what happens in Australia stays in Australia. Exactly. That's why he's a comic king.
What happens out back stays out back.
But does that apply to the indigenous reservations?
Oh, you don't want to go there, bro. They'll fucking...
Obviously I do.
I'm telling you, man, our indigenous folk will absolutely kill you if you're a white man walking through there. I'm telling you.
Well, so you're saying it didn't. Okay.
There you go. And Jimbo laughs. Anyway, so we go to the main event. It is Julia Hart. It is Anna Jay.
I'm Latino.
I'll talk to you off the air, Jeff. All right. But anyway, well, I think we all are, as a matter of fact.
That's right.
But anyway, Julia Hart does defeat Anna Jay in an absolutely pathetic match. I don't even know why it's worthy. I will say this, or worthy for a main event, that is. But I will point out one thing. I didn't mind Julia Hart's entrance, but why was she singing as she was walking out? Like, that was a bit, you know what I'm saying? And why is everyone giving shit to Anna Jay lately? Like, one eye is that way, her ass is fat. Really, she doesn't even have that much of a back. What's up with that? I mean, Jeff, why is she getting all this shit thrown at her?
I assume the singing was her doing a witch's incantation. So that was the benefit of the doubt I gave her to that. I don't really know about the Anna Jay thing. I don't know what's up with that because, I mean, she's a perfectly attractive woman as far as I can tell. I mean, like TV attractive, top notch. And as far as her eyes are concerned, I've never noticed that she's got a Shawn Michaels thing going on. That she's got
neither have I. I'm trying to see it, but I don't see it.
I mean, it must be something inside where people like joke about it, that she's always giving people cross-eye, and she must have said one day she can't control it or something.
Poor girl.
I don't have any insight on any of this. I'm not like you with the inner workings of prostitution.
I'm glad Dee's got her headset on right now because I'm telling you. Anyway. Oh, wait. She nodded her head.
She's listening to the show.
Yeah.
Imagine that, actually. Shit. Anyway, like Todd said, haters are going to hate, but it's true. Anyway, this match sucked. Julia Hart does win, like I said. Where do we go from here with her? I have no idea, but she doesn't even suit the House of Black. Have you noticed? She's kind of to the side. She doesn't even know what to do half the time when she's around the guys. Chris, do you have anything to say about this shit and why Julia Hart doesn't know what she's doing with the Z-Boys?
Yeah, it's a square peg in a round hole kind of thing. She doesn't belong with the House of Black. They went with it because it was something that they thought could get over with the Mist. It clearly didn't. They dropped it too quick, or, I mean, it was just a bad idea from the beginning. She can't wrestle. She's now had 21 matches for AEW. She's 21-0. And
that's shocking, bro.
And I think that maybe it should be one of those things where, you know, you retire at 21-0, like, you know, and then you tell everybody, you know, like, I got injured, and otherwise I could have been a real something. I could have been a world champion if only that thing hadn't happened. You know, I was unbeaten, etc., etc. You know, like if Fernando Vargas retired before the Tito Trinidad fight, everybody would have went, Yeah, Vargas. Remember that guy? He totally could have been world champion. Yeah. She's not good. She's not good in the position. She's not a good professional wrestler. She looks okay, but
right. Her face is not the greatest face. Let's be honest, right?
Anna Jay can touch it a lot quicker than Julia Hart can.
Absolutely, I agree 100%.
And she can just close her eyes if it's distracting. As far as Julia Hart goes, no thanks. That's it. Just go away.
Jeff?
I have no strong position as to Julia Hart with the House of Black. I mean, it's fine. It doesn't do much. She, has taken some horrendous spots. She doesn't really know where to be and what to do, but I don't care. Would it have made more sense to do that with, say, Abaddon, who's on their roster allegedly, or someone else? Maybe, possibly.
It's funny because Todd brings up an interesting point, speaking of Abaddon, because he says, I'm telling you, someone like Victoria or Rosemary would be perfect for the House of Black.
Well,
I actually agree with him.
And Rosemary works for Impact and doesn't leave Canada. So
she doesn't?
It wouldn't be. But I understand what he's saying. But I don't care about this side note. I want to talk about this match, because this match was terrible. Neither one of these women knew what they were doing. It was slow as molasses.
There's a lot of quailing going on too, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of waiting around, waiting for spots, looking, just, waiting like quails, but there's only one of them, standing around like in water, doing nothing, waiting for a move to happen, and the move was executed poorly. You had a point where Julia Hart was taking Anna Jay's head, and she was supposed to be pounding it to the mat.
Oh, yeah,
it was going slow, and Anna Jay's head never got this much closer to it, and that's about 4 or 5 inches. And you would see her hands going boom, 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 and you could see the space between it. And it was every bit as bad a visual as when they had that Dark Order scrum back in the day where Dustin Rhodes there was a guy that was supposed to be punching Dustin Rhodes, and like they caught it in slow motion, and his hand is like 7 inches from the side of Dustin Rhodes' head.
Hey, that's not Anna's fault. She clearly has problem with depth perception, being that she only has the one useful eye.
And they should know that, and the American Disabilities Act says that they should work around that, make reasonable accommodations, and not have that be a spot. So,
oh boy.
Anyway, this was awful, and I have seen Anna Jay have okay matches. I mean, this whole thing about her being a wild child, hardcore wrestler, I don't care. I mean, it's like Liv Morgan doing it. I don't care. It's like, it doesn't, but when she's in a match with someone who's really amateurish like Julia Hart, who is only 21. By the way, Kate and Hanafi, if you're listening to this or you get this, remember 3-4 years ago when you said you see superstar in Julia Hart, and I said, I don't know what the hell you're looking at. Well, this is a delayed suffocated moment. But anyway, this match was the drizzling shits, and this is what your end of Dynamite was. If I was watching AEW for the first time, and the Fast Nationals looked like Rampage looks like they did pretty well. For them lately, not like historically well. I wouldn't stay tuned in for Battle of the Belts. Now, I mean, there's probably nobody on earth who tunes into AEW Rampage for the first time, and no one watches Rampage by accident anymore, so it probably doesn't matter. But wow, this match. I know who thought it was a good idea to put this on TV, but even they, in their addled Adderall and cocaine and bad meth cocktail of
Hi Tony
of extra strong espresso coffee mix, whatever kind of grind you got grinding your gears, this was a bad idea. At least see the test match first, see how it goes before you decide to put it on TV in front of a national audience. If anything, this is what you put on Dark. Exactly. Sorry, Tony, you're right. My bad. I don't like when you yell at me.
Fucking hell, this guy.
But this may have been one of the worst matches I've ever seen.
I'll tell you this right now, Jeff. I'm not going to put up with this fucking shit. I'm telling you, you won't.
He does it fucking great. I'll give you that, Chris. I mean, look at that face.
I have more money than Jim Crockett.
Well, he actually probably did and does.
Probably. Of course he does.
That's what I'm saying, right?
It is.
Jeff might have more money than Jim Crockett.
That's true too. Now, anyway,
I don't. I assure you.
Todd says Julia Hart no good. And Yojimbo says, I agree. I lost all interest in House of Black when she joined. She takes away the toughness in that group. It's true. And it looks like they're just not interested in her. Like they kind of move away from her, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't know, man. They just don't want her there, I think. And she's probably not even close friends with them. That's another thing, you know. But Yojimbo also says Abaddon would have made more sense, man, for sure. I agree. And Todd also says Anna Jay also no bueno, but great to look at, and not cross-eyed. Contrary to popular belief, I agree with that because I don't see it either. Maybe it's a joke. Well, anyway, whoever said Julia Hart has potential should seek mental help immediately, Jeff.
You hear that, Kate, and get therapy.
Honestly, I think that as the resident Canadian here, I really just believe that Julia Hart should have to change her last name. Like legally, she shouldn't be allowed to wrestle with that last name. It's not.
It's just a Blackheart, like Shotzi.
Yeah. Blackheart will be fine.
Not even Blackheart, because Owen Hart used that originally too.
Greyheart.
Remember that?
Greyheart.
Not even
Heart.
Blandheart.
Pinkheart.
Blandheart. Blandheart's good.
Blandheart, actually. Which one?
Taupe
Heart? Mm-hmm. Or what about Suicida Heart?
Ooh, I think that's a lot of syllables.
Yeah,
that's Suicida.
That's too many.
Too many? Damn it. Oh, Pink Heart. See, the listeners have spoken. I think Pink Heart is the logical one. How about we take the heart out of it and just call her Julia?
She can be Julia Smith.
She can be Julia Smith.
I mean, if they want to make her evil, they call her Lilith, you know, or something like that. I mean,
True.
there's plenty of this.
Don't talk logic. Stop talking logic.
And why does Jim Ross keep calling her a Jezebel?
Oh, you know what, man? You're right. I kind of get cringed.
Is that she's a rat, that she sleeps around back there. The poor thing.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, I was cringing. He was frothing, man. You could tell. He's like, oh, look at these two Jezebels.
Oh yeah, there was nothing. Jim Ross clearly is not paying attention, because when somebody did who works with Matt Hardy and was doing the they did the Twist of Fate, and someone goes, "That's a Twist of Fate," and Jim Ross goes,
"Oh yes, he corrected him.
Looked like a DDT to me," and then he goes, "That was right out of Matt Hardy's playbook." And Jim Ross goes, "It was indeed." I mean,
yeah, that's true.
Like,
it was Excalibur that corrected him about. I think that was the hook match, wasn't it?
It might have been, and there was actually some pretty funny stuff, you know, between, if you listen to all the botches they made. Excalibur was actually sort of on tonight.
He actually was, and you know, I hate to say it. I mean, JR, I love him, man. No, really, I love him. Possibly, arguably, the best commentator in the history of professional wrestling. But right now, he's getting too old to be doing this stuff, and
I don't think it's his age.
You don't think so? You just think he hates the product that much?
I think he legitimately hates the product that much. I actually think that. And JR is way too much of a company man to just come out and say that. But you can kind of tell, like you said, from the pure lack of like focus that he seems to have, to like when he talks about it on his podcast, even he doesn't specify anything. People are like, "How's AEW?" "Oh, it's great, man. You know, all them boys and girls over there working real hard, and we're you know, I'm proud as hell to be a part of that company." And like he's saying the right things, but he's saying the right things in a way that it's like, you know, he's not fucking paying attention.
But at least once a month, he says he slips up a little bit, because, you know, he doesn't slip because, you know, he wants to say things. And this very week, they quoted him saying Jim Ross thinks that AEW has too many wrestlers. And of course they do. You know, a blind man could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. First of all, they got a lot of crappy wrestlers too, to be fair. I think they need to like absolutely get rid of so many people on that roster. It's just too much garbage on that freaking roster.
If you want to make the problem. If you want to make amends with companies like Impact and NWA and AAA, that you know, and solidify relationships with places like DDT and New Japan, send them each 6 to 10 wrestlers and let them beef up their rosters and say, "I'm going to keep paying them. Don't worry. You work them into stories. Just don't make them look too bad. Treat them like your own. And as long as you do that, you can keep them for 8 months, bring them back. I'll give you a new rotation. And every now and then I may ask for one of your top people to be on our show. What the hell just happened?
I don't know. Jimmy disappeared. That's okay, though. We don't need him.
As long as we're still in the air.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're still in the air. Hey, chat, go ahead and go ahead and throw up an F in the chat if we're still on, guys.
Man, did that happen to you guys just then?
No, just you, Mark Henry.
It's no shit. It just kicked me out of StreamYard and said an error occurred.
You know what?
That was weird.
Just come back and say, it's time for the main event.
That was weird, man. That's never happened before. But anyway.
Yeah, it was just you. We were still on the air. We got an F thrown up.
Thank God. Because then it would have stopped the recording and then we would have really been screwed. Chris, what were you going to say earlier though, man?
I was going to say, here's the problem. When they started this company, they basically made it seem like this was Mother Teresa starting a wrestling company and that nobody would ever be fired because, firing people is wrong and it's bad. And it's something that those other guys do over there at the other place that's bad wrestling, that's run by a bad old man who's bad. And, nobody could ever possibly get fired from our company.
They could kiss my ass, pal.
And the one fucking time I can remember that they actually did fire somebody for cause, it went through the fucking Twitter grinder of, oh, he must be racist against what's her name Hogan there, who he fucking fired because she wasn't good and was injuring people. Well, I mean, you got to grow some fucking balls, Tony. This is how business works. You want to be a big boy. You want to play with the big boys. You're in here with the fucking sharks in professional wrestling. You're going to have to learn how to actually stop taking this fucking shit and fucking do your job. Fire some of these fucking people. They're not good enough to be on TV. You just tell them, hey, you go away, you do some stuff, you get better, and we'll reevaluate in a year or in 16 months or in however long it takes for you to go the fuck away and get good at professional wrestling.
I agree 100%. I mean, TK needs to graduate to his pull-ups, his Huggies pull-ups, man. You know what I mean? And get away from the diapers because... yeah, he's just a little bitch, bro. I mean, seriously, I cannot stand him as a person. Even though I don't know him personally, just by looking at the guy. I mean, when you have eyes ready to pop out of your head like that, I'm sorry. And you know what? He's never addressed, actually, guys, if he's on any pharmaceuticals and whatnot. He just ignores it. So I think he actually is on something. You don't have eyes like that. I'm sorry. You just don't. You just don't. I hope one day eventually we do hear that he's just a big coke binger, man. It would have been funny if he's hooked up with the Colombian cartels or something like that. I would really laugh about it. But anyway, that was Rampage though, folks. I mean, is there anything else we need to talk about before we get into Battle of the Belts?
No, sir.
No, sir. Chris, anything else?
Julia Hart walked off, and as she was walking off, Best Friends was coming in.
Yeah, exactly.
And she stared at the Best Friends.
Yeah. Yeah, because
that was weird too.
Let me use a good word since Kevin Owen used it on Friday night. She leered at the Best Friends
with both eyes pointing in the same direction.
Character. Anyway, yeah, it is what it is. I mean, yeah, it was stupid.
I've been told by the chat and by people in other comments that I am not entertaining. But as long as I entertain you, that's all I care about.
Well, that's true. That's all. That's all we
really
care
matters.
about. That's true.
Just keep entertaining us, and we'll keep you around, Jeff.
That's all it takes.
Oh, God damn it. Anyway, guys, all right. Well, let's get into the Battle of the Bouts portion. So, I'm just going to play a little intro for the Battle of the Bouts part, and we will continue. So, we'll be back literally in like a minute, like not even.
Right, so if we ever need to license these separately, we can make them into 2 different shows for licensing rights.
Exactly. Actually, a minute and a half, we'll be back.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the least important hour of professional wrestling. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, we're here to record the Battle of the Belts. We're here to review the Battle of the Belts, which is super, super important and really, really means a lot, and is really important that people watch and pay attention to, and probably going to be a place where TK announces something major at some point here because nobody fucking watches it. Anyway, here we are. We're here on HMG, channelattitude.com. I am your host, Christopher Ambs. That's AMBS, like lambs with no L or bullshit first thing in the morning. I'm here with my usually unusual co-host with the most from the Port Phillip Coast, Jimmy T of the PWC. Jimmy, tell the people hi.
Hello. Why, hello. Yes, we're back again. Like, I mean, you did see us like literally 2 minutes ago, but yes, this is the Battle of the Belts portion of Rampage Uncaged right here on channelattitude.com.
Yeah, right on. Also joining us is my especially special, sometimes co-host with the most from the all Atlantic coast, Jeff Lippman. Jeff, how the hell are you?
JTV is greater than QTV.
I hate that, right? I'm trying to point sometimes too, and I wind up pointing over here because that's what it looks like.
Wait a minute.
I'm trying to point at Jimmy, but Jimmy's
wait.
there now.
You guys have, is it the opposite? It's not mirroring?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can change that in the settings, by the way. I've got it like normal. So
it's always easy for Jeff because I just go like that because it's just down, down is down.
I mean,
down.
I use Lily as my roadmap.
Well, if you go into settings, as a matter of fact,
lodestar.
Go to your camera settings in the settings, right? And then you'll see right underneath where it says camera resolution, mirror my camera. Click on that and it will be normal. So,
all right, we can figure all that shit out another time.
Right.
A couple of comments from the chat that we missed from the last show. I like Todd Brantley's last comment here. If only we knew someone that would actually do that and keep TK in line. Ben Hameen, ? Would be an excellent person in this role. And also, I really just want somebody with $1 billion to give Ben Hameen creative control over a wrestling company because it would be brilliant and it would be awesome. Also, Yo Jimbo, his last comment, clearly lying. Jeff, you are super entertaining. I read that.
Don't tell him that, Jimbo.
I read that in the same voice, and facial features that I've been doing my Tony Khan impression in. Jeff, you are super entertaining.
I accept.
You just stroked his ego, Jimbo. God damn it.
God damn it, pal.
I don't know what you're stroking about. It's a little bit to the left.
And he laughs. Anyway.
All right. Well, let's get into the Battle of the Belts. Like I said, guys, before we get into the actual show proper, when they first started Battle of the Belts, it felt like it was like the importance that they sort of put into it, that it was basically going to be like a miniature pay-per-view every once in a while. That's what these were going to be. They were going to be important. They were going to be something that you couldn't miss if you wanted to follow along with the product, etc., etc. And what they've turned into is, I mean, introductions. What the fuck is a Drilistico?
That's a good point. What is a Drilistico?
I mean, you're right, first of all. It was sort of like, I thought it was going to be sort of like Saturday night's main event, where back in the day, where 3 or 4 times a year, you did have like a extra special show. And that was back in the day where on your weekly wrestling shows, I mean, they were basically all main events. I mean, like WWE main event or Thunder. There was never any doubt who was going to win the match. What is Drilistico? Drilistico is actually the youngest brother of Rush and Dragon Lee.
We know that, but what is a Drilistico, Jeff?
I believe it's like a dragon.
It is? So why not Dragonistico then?
Drago is Spanish for dragon, so it's like it is the Dralistico. I think means like lizard. Like Mystic, they call it Mystico, and everything in there.
That's obvious.
So his name is basically Dragonish. Cool.
Dragonish.
Yeah, great, awesome. But no, really though, Jeff. Like,
Bruce should change his name to Puff. So he's Puff the Magic Dragon. He's got Dragon Lee and Drilistico.
That'd be great.
That would be great. Puff on the Magic Dragon, or in this case, Puff on the Magic Drilistico.
But it's a perfectly rational question to ask. What has Drilistico done to earn this title match?
I have no idea. Chris has no idea. Jeff, clearly you have no idea.
And as far as I know, I have not seen the Chiron that he is all elite, nor have I seen the Chiron that he signed with Ring of Honor. As far as I know, he's a free agent, and he's still wrestling there because I guess the two brothers are either lobbying to get him or to keep him away. I'm not sure which.
Well, I want to report that we forgot to report. Right, and guess he's all elite as of today.
Sky Blue?
Yes, we forgot to mention that.
I just mentioned it.
I know, but we forgot to mention it earlier, I'm saying. So of all people, right, now after how long has she been on and off on TV for? 2 years at least?
30 months.
Something like that, right.
You know,
and now
honestly, I think she's with Dante Martin, I think, so that she gets enough money because he probably doesn't get paid while he's injured.
Yeah. And he wants to take care of all these peoples, right? Right.
Gotta eat.
Gotta eat. It's true.
Speaking of Sky Blue, there was a quote here that I wanted to read from from Saraya. It says, "I feel like Sky Blue is going to be the next big thing. She's growing and evolving, although we have to calm her down with wanting to take so many bumps, where me and Ruby are just like, chill, sister." Anyway, that's a quote from Saraya saying that she thinks that that Sky Blue is the next big thing. I'd also just like to point out that Saraya thought that filming a handicap match against Xavier and Maddox was a good idea, and that she has a tattoo of Poppy on her fingers. So maybe her prognostications aren't exactly prophecy. Fuck off, Paige.
Blame this man. Or could it be this man? I don't know. It's one of them. One of them.
If Saraya's opinion against Caden's opinion versus Sky Blue versus Julia Hart, I see a whole lot more in Sky Blue than Julia. I don't see her as being the next big thing, though. I mean, I just think the way
she likes big things, maybe,
that you're going to have more of your big statuesque, Amazon-like women. I just think that she's too small, but not small enough to be the lovable underdog.
But wait, Jeff, and he's coming from the woman that loves big things. Anyway, what was that?
You say you want to take it away from penis, but you bring it right back to penis.
What penis? I saw no penis.
No.
I just see a black thing there. I don't know what that is, but anyway, that was the highlights.
You bring it back to black penis.
That was the highlights of that three-way that
it wasn't a three-way. It was a handicap match.
Oh, sorry. No, you're right. It was a handicap match. That was the highlights from that handicap match.
Definitely not the highlight.
No.
That was the finisher. That was the finisher.
For you, it was the close-up.
No, the highlight definitely had something to do with the championship belt.
The belt was there. I can actually inform everybody that the Divas Championship was indeed there. We know that
you studied it frame by frame many times. Like you're
I kind of
like
have actually.
Zapruder.
Nah. I won't lie, I kind of have, but
anyway, we can confirm that Jimmy did all of this. Yes, I'm getting confirmation after he paid for a prostitute and had sex with her. Just quietly.
Can you do this?
No comment.
Just a second. This is my PWC belt.
I'll never hire Saraya. God damn it!
You
never. I do, and I won't. And I don't care what anyone says.
The look-alike.
Let's just move on, shall we? You're exposing me now, Jeff. You're exposing me. Come on now.
If you keep putting that picture up, what do you think is going to happen?
What? Oh, whoops, it just flashed. Hey, we are on channelattitude.com, just quietly. It's all good. It flies.
That's right. You have to pay for this kind of comment.
Exactly.
Chris was doing so well.
Exactly. Sorry. But he brought up that handicap match. I had to show highlights. I mean, she is all elite after all. Just saying. Anyway.
All right. Well, anyway, this match basically goes how you would expect a match between Orange Cassidy and one of Rush's little brothers. It's a lot of get your shit in. Here's some cool flips. Look at this jump that I can do. Hey, on the plus side, nobody broke their fucking leg. The match ends when Cassidy wins with an orange punch. After the match, The lights dim because this company just loves the dim lights. Malachi Black says that he's always considered Cassidy to be talented, but says that he knows that losing to the house has been eating him alive. I don't think that anything is eating Orange Cassidy alive because he doesn't care. That's his whole gimmick. The gimmick is, I don't give a shit. Anyway, then Buddy Matthews, Australia's Bret Hart, says that
everybody's Australian's Bret Hart.
Yeah, well, him and Emma.
That's anyway.
Australian. Yeah. Exactly. I was gonna say that. Rest in peace to Australia's Bret Hart, but Butch was from New Zealand. Buddy Matthews says that they were gracious enough to put their titles on the line. He says it's about time for Orange Cassidy to do the same thing. So it looks like we're gonna get those two for Orange Cassidy's international championship, and maybe we'll actually get a video package or a chyron where somebody is up there with a flag other than the United States. We should have gotten one today with Dralistico. We didn't.
I'm still trying to figure out what a Dralistico is, Chris. I still can't really figure it out. Or is he dragonish, like you said? Okay. Well, there you go.
I'm still wondering if a guy who's supposed to be selling his hand injury from a week ago, why he's still using the orange punch as his finisher. Like he has.
Because he recovered.
Huh?
He recovered.
Yeah, but they kept saying that he's clearly favoring that hand. No, he ain't. How you clearly, favoring if you use it as your finisher? That's just dumb. Anyway.
Oh, speaking of hands, actually, and I forgot to mention this.
If you show another picture of Soraya right now after speaking,
I'm not. No. I'm not.
No Ricochet either.
No, I haven't seen that one, and I don't plan to. But anyway, but no, for real. Back when we were doing the machismo this past week, about when we were talking about Raw, I forgot to mention, did anyone see Cody, speaking of hands, when he came out, he had his hand in his suit jacket. He'd done the Bavarian Illuminati sort of thing where he puts his hand in his suit. So that means he's eliminated and will win the WWE Championship very soon. He's the next chosen one for sure.
You mean like the Napoleon?
Yeah, when they put their hand in the
Napoleon's
in the jacket.
In the inside though.
Yeah, like that. Like what Chris is doing, essentially.
I think he was just trying to tell you that his ribs.
Yeah, I know. That's what they were saying. Like he's selling his ribs, but really he was,
So you think
illuminated.
That the grandson of a plumber has made his way to the Illuminati?
He's finally made it.
This is exactly the kind of shit that gets us that the okay hand gesture is fucking white supremacist.
The demon, it's all devils, Chris.
No, it isn't. Shut up. Not everything is like, I get why people get this way where they get to the point where everything is a fucking conspiracy, but not everything is a fucking conspiracy. Okay, if you ever see me out and I go like this, I am trying to tell you I'm okay. I swear to fucking God, and that's what this meant. My entire goddamn life, that's what this meant. So stop trying to let crazy ass people on the internet and racists take things from me. This is mine. They don't get to take it away from me.
Well, this is why wrestling is dying, because wrestling's basically built on people who believe conspiracy theories. That's basically what kayfabe is, and swerves are.
Exactly,
but
right.
Since now everything's a conspiracy, you don't need that sort of thing in your life when it's everywhere, so why watch wrestling?
Why? It's true.
So my conspiracy is I blame the conspiracy theorists on killing wrestling.
Well, Todd says Jalisco means get your shit in Spanish. In Espanol.
We have an
That's
expert.
What it
means. I heard he worked at the UN for many years.
Todd also says, speaking of Soraya, did you hear or read about Soraya putting... Yes, we were talking about that, Todd.
Wind the show 4 minutes, Todd.
I know. Where you been, man? Jesus.
Well, also read the comments before you post them, producer.
Well, I'm just putting it out there because so I can point it out. But anyway, continue on.
All right, continuing on. Back from break. Backstage, Lexi Nair is with Mark Briscoe. Nair asks Briscoe how he's holding up after his match with Samoa Joe at Super Card of Honor, because these two companies are completely separate and have nothing to do with one another. Briscoe says he's not going anywhere. He says the Lucha Brothers will get the job done before Jay Lethal walks in. He asks Briscoe, how long have we known each other, man? He says they've known each other about 20 years. Yeah, man. Yeah, we've been good friends. And how come we aren't working together, And then Briscoe says, yeah, all right, we can work together. So he shakes Jay's hand, and then everybody else from Jay Briscoe's group comes in and is like, yay, we got Mark, hooray. And Mark Briscoe's looking like, oh, fuck, I didn't want to shake these idiots' hands.
That's so true. Can I ask you guys a question? How did Mark Briscoe lose his tag team championship? Because I don't know. Does anyone know?
He relinquished it. He didn't want to be part of it. He didn't want to get a new tag team partner.
Is that how they did it?
Do you want me to go into detail about how he lost his tag team championship? Because it had something to do with a car accident, Jimmy.
No, Chris, please.
Okay.
I mean,
why say that?
Are you saying? Are you asking whether or not he actually made a choice? Said no, I don't want to have another tag team partner for this thing, or if they said, listen, it'd be too obvious that you would win, and let's give it some time and have you do so. I have no idea what happened.
Well, that was going to be my answer too. I have no idea.
I don't know the answer to that.
Well, neither do I.
But he's been on TV on Rampage or occasionally on Turner Networks, which is a large improvement over Honor Club, which, by the way, ever since that first report of there being 12,000 subscribers, we haven't heard a report since then. I wonder, obviously it hasn't gone up any, or they would have been talking about it. So
I wonder how many subscribers Mandy Rose has.
That's right. Yeah, I haven't heard about that. Also haven't heard about how many buys there were for Supercard of Honor. Still,
True. Good point, actually. And as a matter of fact, can we actually say that Mandy Sachs, yes, I said Sachs because that's what she calls herself, is actually making more money? I know not so much maybe now, but then AEW.
Well, I mean, if she's making any profit, she's making more money than AEW.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's true.
I mean we're making more money than AEW.
Yeah.
Wait till they go to Wembley.
I mean, all I know about you, Jimmy, is you have enough money to buy cigarettes and fast food. That means you have more money than AEW.
Wow, there you go. Thank you. Thank you.
Anyway. Good stuff. All right. Coming up next here, we've got a TBS championship match between Jade Cargill and someone else who I basically have never heard of, and I have no idea how they earned a championship match. Billy Starks.
Billy Starks, 18 years old.
18
years old. Is she 18?
Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Did you know she's 18? I'm pretty sure that I heard at least 100 or so times on this episode that she's 18.
How old was she?
Jimmy,
Wait,
she's 18. Wait,
really?
Jeff, did you know she's minus 11 years old? Shut the fuck up, commentary. Holy crap.
Wait, minus 11? Wait, she's 18?
Fuck.
I didn't know.
She's sort of an darling. She's been in the darling for about 3 years now. She's been wrestling since she was a mid-teenager, traveling with her parents. I actually did
illegally
an interview with her for Unpopular Review that never got aired because the dummy Chris didn't know that the interviews got deleted if you didn't use them after 15 days. So he lost a whole bunch of interviews, including a great one with Silas. No, not Chris Ambs, the executive consultant, Chris Harris. Who, by the way, you might remember from the GIF that went around when somebody was watching a WWE live show and a guy with a belt was there and they're yelling, "Are you going to defend it?" And he's yelling, "Acknowledge me, acknowledge me!" And the girl's like, "That's a nice belt. Are you going to defend it?" That's a nice belt. He's yelling, "Acknowledge me, acknowledge me." Yep, that's him. That's the very one and same.
Oh boy, that's unpopular indeed. I'm just saying.
This is exactly why I have my little caveat at the end of these shows. You can go ahead and try to add me if you're wearing a fucking championship belt in your profile picture. The answer's no.
But footnote on Billy Starks. This week I've seen her on NWA Power, on MLW Underground, and on AEW Battle of the Belts.
Wow. And Ring of Honor. I first saw her in Ring of Honor, in AEW Ring of Honor. But not this week.
I'm just saying this week on TV.
Right. And she's really only 18, though. And she's indie darling.
I have seen a clip that so far in her young career, she has broken the nose of Britt Baker. She's broken the nose of Emi Sakuraba, or whatever the fuck her name is. And she's also done a flipping leg drop on the apron to somebody where she legitimately dropped all of her weight on this person's neck. So, great. She's minus 11, and that's really, really fun and interesting. But maybe she needs another few years before she should be on television. Just saying, maybe. Possibly.
Yeah, I know. I don't understand why you would hire an 18-year-old for a major promotion, but who am I to judge?
Yeah. Basically, this was a very long match, by the way. This was I think the longest or one of the longest matches of Jade Cargill's career. She clearly had
longest easily
really struggle against this woman. But again, what do you expect? We've already seen her injure, two legends in professional wrestling. So of course it's going to be hard to beat her. She's that good that she's able to injure at least two people who are actual professional wrestlers. The booking here is pretty simple. Cargill wins with her Jaded, and afterwards, Taya Valkyrie's music hits. She comes down, she ducks an attack, hits Cargill, and that's pretty much it.
And I forgot to mention on Rampage also we had a little interaction between Taya Valkyrie and Jade Cargill in a little vignette.
I wanted to touch on that because
I forgot about it. Right,
RJ City has less talent than the random white guy who never says anything in QTV, and he doesn't have the assets of Harley Cameron. This guy offers nothing.
And this match offered nothing, and I'm worried because why would you put Jade Cargill through the ringers against an 18-year-old? Makes no sense. I don't understand why she, out of all the wrestlers that Jade Cargill has actually faced, actually put on the best fight pretty much. It does not make sense. It really doesn't. Chris, do you have an idea? Because I don't.
My guess is that if you look at TK's browser history, the phrase barely legal comes up a few times, and that's the reason.
You know your kid's in the background, right?
Mm-hmm. She doesn't know what I just fucking said.
I'm just saying. Anyway, no, you're right, though, and it's kind of bizarre. I mean, is there a chance now, guys, actually, that Taya Valkyrie might actually beat Jade Cargill? Because I feel like maybe they're going to go that way now.
Yeah, I think there's a chance. I mean, they have built her up more than anyone else, but I mean, I don't think there's a solid chance for the reason that Chris has said week after week after week. But if they're going to do it, I mean, Taya Valkyrie is a little bit hot with the crowd. She has a little bit of steam. You can't hold something for Chris Stadler, and I don't know why everyone's so obsessed with
fuck Chris Stanlander now at this point.
I mean, who knows if she'll ever come back? And she's another, IWC darling that they would forget about 3 weeks later. Taya Valkyrie actually has some behind her, but I actually fear that they had Jay do a longer match because they want to have her work a few matches that are more than 5 or 6 minutes and get to that 8, 10, 12-minute mark before just to do a real match with Taya Valkyrie.
Yeah, but you're not against Billy Starks, and there's one too many Starkses as there is already, just in WWE.
Billy Starks doesn't work for AEW. She's just appearance talent.
Also, Billy and Ricky sound like they should be a brother and sister duo, so you could have given her a different first name, too, and it would have made it slightly less annoying.
Yeah, like Silly Starks.
Sarah Starks. It doesn't sound so much like Ricky Starks' sister, but Ricky and Billy.
She's actually pretty well known on the indies, and they never change the name of the sort of well-known indie people when they bring them.
No, that's what I'm saying. Just change her first name, because the first names sound like they rhyme with Ricky, like just Ricky, Billy, just call her something else.
Right, or why not like Billy Sparks? So it's not Starks. Right?
I don't mind them keeping Starks. That's fine. But anyway, yeah, let's move on because I don't even want to fucking keep talking about this. Alex Abrahantes is backstage. He barges into the Elite's locker room and he asks Brandon Cutler for an update on the Elite. Cutler is standing there with his fucking mask on because why? Takes off his mask and he tries to be tough, which, I mean, Brandon Cutler being tough is just... if you had that on your bingo card, congratulations. Basically, he says that, you got to stand up to bullies in the Blackpool Combat Club who aren't from Blackpool and barely do any combat or in any kind of club. They're bullies.
Pocket Pool Club?
They're bullies. And then Michael Nakazawa says, Namor.
That was weird, bro.
He said no more. He said
no more.
No more. Yeah. Jeff, what did you think of this backstage?
I thought more about when Taya pointed out that you can own a move that's been around forever and that she was using for years and years and years when Jade's only been wrestling for a cup of coffee. Yeah,
cut the shit, Jeff.
First of all, why do you have a backstage segment with Nakazawa and Cutler? Period. That's a waste of camera time. Why is Alex Marvez there? I mean, just like RJ City, these These are 4 examples of costs that you don't need to have that add absolutely zero to your show. But the biggest ironic thing is they're talking about the Blackpool Combat Club are the bullies. No, the entire thing of the Elite is they're bullies and they think they run the show. And I mean, it was 5 minutes ago since they were heels.
That's backstage, though, technically, Jeff.
Well, also on camera. I mean, 5 minutes ago they were heels.
No, but are they bullies on camera?
Gang of 9 of them. I mean, come on.
I know that's true.
They're the biggest douchebags, maybe in the sport. And this whole thing, rings complete. And worse, we're going to get a match with Nakazawa and Cutler against the Blackpool Combat Club on TV.
Wait, they said that?
Yes. Next week, we're the last one standing. What? And we're going to take on, I don't know what team, which combination. I think it's probably going to be Cesaro and Yuta. What's that?
Cesaro and Superhuman, yeah.
Why?
I mean,
they're going to get killed.
That's going to be a match on Rampage. I mean, the only thing we can hope is that it's so brutal that they put those two in the hospital, kayfabe or otherwise.
For good, forever. Though. You're right, exactly.
Yeah, I mean...
Speaking of forever, anyone seen Fight Forever yet?
It's forever. Oh, and you heard the Matt Jackson... He's not going to get actual real treatment. He's going to get like sound therapy.
Oh, yeah, I heard that.
All sorts of woo-woo kind of, homeopathic medicine. Didn't he learn from Kenny that doesn't work? Has he not learned?
Christian AF, Jeff.
Well, I mean, he didn't say he was going to pray and let the Holy Spirit heal him. I mean, he's like going into pagan stuff. But anyway, maybe. Just get surgery, dummy. I mean, Kenny avoided surgery for whatever, and he's keeps telling us he's one injury away. Actually,
That's true.
Matt, do whatever. If you're one injury away, actually, I take it back. Go for it.
Yeah, don't conjure him being around forever.
Yeah, you don't need any treatment. Go work through it, baby.
Yeah, you're good. You're good, man. Just tough it out.
Yeah.
Tough it out.
Through Christ, all things are possible, Matt.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Spot on.
Especially on Easter.
Especially on Easter.
Especially on Happy Zombie Weekend. All right. QT Marshall, Powerhouse Hobbs, Aaron Solo, Harley Cameron. They head to the ring, followed by the Lucha Brothers and Alex Abrahantes. This was the one match on this card that actually made sense for the titles because, the Lucha Brothers have consecutively lost TNT title matches to Powerhouse Hobbs, so it makes sense that Hobbs and a partner of his choosing would get a tag title match, I guess, although I'm sure they haven't moved up the rankings since they haven't had any other tag team championship matches or other tag team matches, but nonetheless. This match was exactly what you would have expected if you saw on the card that Penta and his little brother were going to have a wrestling match. To start the match off, Powerhouse Hobbs exchanges elbows with Penta. Pentagon, if I'm being really, really kind, is about 215 pounds. Powerhouse Hobbs should not be exchanging elbow strikes with Penta. I don't give a fuck how not scared you are. If a man who outweighs you by 80 pounds is hitting you with the full force of his elbow, you will be the one who falls down. Chris, I hated some of this.
I hate to interject, but you're forgetting something very important on this Holy Easter weekend. Pentagon is, in fact, a ninja skeleton. So he's extra powerful today. He is, in fact, that zombie, but he's an angry zombie without fear. So he has extra power this week.
Without fear.
I mean, I don't want to get technical on you.
Yeah, no. You know what? Hey, when you're wrong, Jeff. That's true. That's good stuff. Yeah, and then at one point,
but a resurrection.
At one point, Penta
I thought it was a cat, Felix.
At one point, Penta was slapping both men in the chest while they just stood there and took his slaps. Just stupid shit. Yeah. Eventually, the Lucha Brothers get the win, and they should have, I guess, booking-wise, but God, I'm getting tired of their matches. It's the same match every single time. People have to sell ridiculous shit for them. I've seen the same spots now from both of these guys 100 times. Every time they try to do something new, they break someone's leg. So I'm just tired of these guys in general. Jimmy, let's start with you. What did you think of this match?
Well, first of all, I hated this match. I was just daydreaming watching it at this point. But you bring up an interesting point. First of all, they break everyone's legs, but they also break their own legs all the time too. So there you go. That's double trouble for you. Breaking arms. Exactly. Breaking arms, legs. They're even doing electric boogaloos in the ring. But you're right, though. You're absolutely right. It's the same shtick week in, week out. And you know what's even more sad, guys? The fact that we're saying that. Because it wasn't too long ago that we were fans of these guys. But boy, oh boy, has AEW exposed their shit out of these two guys, man. I mean, they really have. They've exposed them. And get this. Since Ring of Honor is also a separate entity, apparently, it's a different company, right? It's completely different to AEW. We're getting a Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship match this week on Dynamite.
So exciting. All I've got to say is C to everything that both of you guys said, so I'm not going to repeat it, but I will say one thing that we have said, and we said it from day one when this happened, even before it actually played out, that putting Hobbs with QT Marshall and this bunch of fools would do nothing except reduce Hobbs. And the TNT champion has no business being in a tag team match. There's no rhyme or reason for it. Yes, the storyline put it this way, but it was a bad idea storyline altogether. This should happen when this match is booked. You know QT Marshall is losing. He's going to take the pin, whatever. So why saddle Hobbs with that? He's not even prevalent in the QTV segments anymore. And the one he did nothing except snarled and walked away. It's all dumb. And again, if they just focused on the QTV and tried to make it funny, and there's raw potential there, just let Hobbs be Hobbs. Let him go out on his own.
What happened when he was on his own, Jeff? He was walking endlessly and didn't know where the arenas were.
Story. Maybe they need like a find your phone app. Maybe they couldn't find him. Maybe he really was. They just couldn't find him. And maybe the camera guy worked for Hobbs. I don't know. But
maybe
this is they keep giving people titles and then miring them with other people to which brings them all down. I mean, you can go back to Adam Page when he was champion, fucking around with the Dark Order. I mean, Wardlow immediately with Ward Joe. I mean, it's like the lesson never gets learned. It's like it's not just doubling down; it's tripling, quadrupling down on the same mistakes. When we see the same storyline in the same goddamn shows, or 2 months later. I mean, in one show we have two people with the "I love my hat." I mean, come on. But I mean, poor Hobbs. He has a TNT title, and it's like irrelevant 3 weeks later.
Well, from now on, I think we're going to call him no more Hobbs. It's Will Jobs.
Right.
That's the new name.
One of the good things QT Marshall said is, don't call him anything. It's either Powerhouse Hobbs or Champ. And JR calls him Willie Hobbs throughout the match.
Get this, champ is a derogatory term here in Australia. If you called someone, especially that's been in jail, a champ, you'll get bashed. Like, you'll literally get hit. For real.
Well,
because you know what that means?
Do you know the bash means having sex with them in Australia? No, listen,
actually,
champ is not a derogatory term in most places. So
in Australia it is. It means you're a bitch boy, literally.
It means you take it like a champ.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Chris is onto it.
So what does it mean if you actually have a title championship? Do you just call it the Beltianship?
You call him the champion. Simple.
Well, you just told me it's derogatory.
Champ. When you say it as champ.
So you're saying the two syllables that make up ION change the connotation.
Don't ask me. I didn't come up with this shit.
Also, the old saying "chomping at the bit" is not actually chomping; it's champing at the bit, which is the name of what horses do when you put a bit in their mouth. They champ at the bit; they don't chomp at it.
Exactly, spot on. Yeah, true. It's a true story.
Listen,
but anyway,
this is always an interesting show for all the wrong reasons.
Well, that was Battle of the Belts, an interesting show for all the wrong fucking reasons. All right. This was fine. If they don't start doing something interesting on Battle of the Belts soon, there won't be a Battle of the Belts 12. We'll put it that way. But
there will be a 7.
There will be a 7 yet. Just because of, contractual, obligations. But man, they need to start doing something interesting with these. Otherwise, it's going to start to feel like, well, all they're doing is just defending meaningless championships, one of our many meaningless championships, on a show where nobody who's involved in any kind of a storyline gets to have a match for the championship, and it doesn't do anything or lead to anything or push anything forward, which is exactly what we got tonight.
And you know what else is even worse, Chris? It was live, bro. It was live, and it was meant to be not so much of a Saturday night's main event. It was meant to be more like Clash of the Champions, like WCW's Clash of the Champions.
Yeah,
and
it was meant to be like a miniature pay-per-view. That's the way that they basically marketed it.
And didn't they promise... Wait, one more thing. Right, yeah, but it doesn't matter. You can do a lot in an hour. How about have 1 hour, just say, like, for example, we had the 60-minute Iron Man match, right? Why not just have one match that is for the World Championship that actually means something on the show? That's it. Just one match where it actually means something, like The Rock and Mankind did back in the day on Heat.
Well,
for example,
they're in that catch-22 where the audience is too small; it's too risky to do it. You know, they have a World Championship hour-long match, and 300,000 people watch it.
Exactly, I bet you the ratings.
The NHL.
Yeah, don't be surprised if the ratings will be about around the 280 mark for this show, for Battle of the Belts.
I won't be surprised, but I mean, this might not be worse, but piling on. I didn't even know there was a Battle of the Belts.
Neither did I.
Dynamite. I had
until
no
Dynamite.
idea.
No hype, no mention of it at all. Chris,
the three of us were literally in a group chat when I found out that was happening this week, and you said, "Oh, we're pulling a triple duty this week, and we're doing Battle of the Belts." And I went, fuck, there's a Battle of the Belts this week.
Because we knew it was going to suck even worse than Rampage.
No, I think what Chris is saying is that at least 2 out of 3 of us, our first reaction was, Battle of the Belts is this weekend? Are you sure?
What? And that too. Right. No, I agree. And Jimbo says, I predict Dynamite next week will do a 780K. Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me. And he also says, man, the concept of Battle of the Belts sounds nice and interesting, but the execution has been consecutively terrible, which is facts.
Well, Tony sold us on a bill of goods thinking that he could sell the network, that he could have a 2 or 3 hour slot on Saturday nights, like Saturday night's main event used to get. They used to get Saturday Night Live's slot, so there was an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. I can't remember exactly.
It was 2 hours.
They're like, nah, we'll give you an hour.
We'll give you an hour. And that's too much. All right. It is Easter weekend. It is zombie weekend, and my daughter, in case anybody's not watching, just placed a stuffed octopus on my head. So
the question is, do you like that hat?
I love this hat. All right, guys. Let's tell the people where they can find us and get the hell out of here. Jeff, why don't you go first?
You can find me, on the PWC with these guys, and oftentimes right here on Channel Attitude and Hami Media Group when they allow me on. Maybe I got fired after yesterday. You never know. You can find me on Twitter at IcarusFellMD. I would love if you would follow me. We'll have some fun. And you can find me also on PWC Hammerlock Hangover, which is a wrestling show I do with Big Daddy Cool Steve Pena. I like to call him Esteban Pineapple, but I've learned the Pena actually means more like pothole, but I think pineapple is funnier. And we actually did a show first time in a month that was supposed to drop yesterday, but I guess it's maybe dropping now. In addition to that, my non-wrestling shows, Garden of Doom and Garden Views. This week on Garden Views, we're going to have a geopolitical military expert on that went to Harvard and all sorts of shit like that, has worked with NATO on the Balkans project, been in Afghanistan, in Iraq, work with the Director of National Security, consult with everyone you can think of. So we're talking about all sorts of real life stuff. Garden of Doom, the last 2 weeks. Today I dropped Tataria. Last week I dropped Chris Ambs, the only six-time guest on Atlantis. And then in the middle of the week I dropped something on Osiris is Everywhere. So it's like Elvis. Elvis is everywhere. Osiris is everywhere. So
Elvis is
check
everywhere.
That shit out. So you can find it on the PWC or, other fine places, including the Hameen Media Group or Wrestling Soup. Shout out to those guys. So check it out and follow me. I'll follow you back.
Yo. Jimmy, where can the people find you, buddy?
Well, like Jeff said, you can find me right here on channelattitude.com where for $5 you get the best talk in pro wrestling, and I truly mean that. Also, if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can at DJ MassFX, and also you can follow us at the PWC Network, and like and subscribe at the pwcnetwork.podbean.com and haminmediagroup.podbean.com, where you can find all sorts of shows at those places. And I think that's about it for me, Chris.
All right, cool. Well, you can find me at all the places that these guys mentioned. You can also find me on Twitter. I'm at ChrisSams1. You can read as I talk about pro wrestling, politics, and whatever the hell comes to my brain. You can also find me worshiping this miniature Cthulhu. Look, it's just given birth to an egg.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Wow.
That's going to do it for Battle
for the wedding of the Jew.
Oh, God.
All right. So that's going to do it for Battle of the Belts. So for Jimmy, for Jeff, for you, the wonderful audience of channelattitude.com, you've been great. We've been awesome. Ole, and have a good fucking weekend.
Happy Easter.
Stay evil, my friends. Happy resurrection.
Division of blood.